Introduction. This is Chief L. Ra, Autotchnous CMOS. I posted a comment on his IG, and the brother cut and pasted a section of the comment and made an entire video. And then basically, when I attempted to respond, I don't know if it was Instagram that blocked me or if it was him that blocked me from responding to a video he made. I could respond to people on his page, but for some reason, I couldn't respond to him. So I don't know if it was Instagram that blocked my response or if it was him that blocked my response. But I think it may have been him that blocked the response. This will be the only video I will make to this brother, and you will see why when it is finished. I will support the brother for his book. I will not attack the brother, but from this point on, after this video is done, I will not dare to respond to this brother, because I think I'm going to say enough in the video that you see. We can build, brother. If he wants to do anything positive, I'm all for that. But anything else, I think his credibility is entirely shot when it comes to anything regarding the Moors. Let's deal with Chief L. Ra, Autotchnous CMOS attack on the Moors. Seems like he only has a problem when the word Moor is mentioned. He must just take a shit every time he hears the word Moor. Well, we're going to make sure he shits out a lot of CMOS watching this video. Map, 25,000 years old, in one of the western Manisaurians of Tibet. Let's get back a little bit more on Lemuria. This goes back to Lemuria. Buddhist world map found by well-known physician Dr. Kobayashi's brother in a Buddhist temple in Japan, 1907. The map featured in the Hawaiian Gazette, January 11, 1907, and the original dated to be around 1,000 years ago, made by possible a Chinese priest. Information is also passed verbally, not always in books, brothers. The map is drawn on the principle of the Mercator azimuth projection. There's that word, there's those two words. Showing the North Pole as a center. We have our known continents and where we are inside the perimeter. You have South America and the Americas. There were other islands and continents here. Some of them just sank. But all these that are outside the perimeter, the creation of the Space Force going into outer space, more space here, not upwards, not this way, but out this way. These continents are named after the original ones that were inside the perimeter. Some of them are. Some of them have been out there for quite a while. These carry the names of Lemuria, Mu, Atlantis, Asgoth. There's other maps showing the names of some of these continents that are inhabited still. But remember, they're only named by some of the continents that were in here that actually sank or possibly are still there. They may be still there. And it's just amazing that Chief Autotchnous L. Ra CMOS has no concept of Atlantis or Lemuria or Tartaria or Tartaria or even ancient Morocco. Peace. It shows North America. It shows actually the continent of Lemuria, which had another name. The E and the L was switched around. It was El Muria. And eventually it just became Mu. This is a continent of Mu, which actually fit up to the west coast of Americas. California, when it broke away, California was an island, and we're going to get into Queen Khalifa or Khalifa Kalima, who ruled the island of California later on. But you see North American Atlantis, and you see Africa over here. Now, of course, everything is really flipped the other way around. We'll get into that as well. This is just one map of Lemuria, which was connected to the Americas, North America and South America, and you see Atlantis on the other side. That is the island of Atlantis that sank. It was just huge, considered to be an island because it was surrounded by water. But North America, Mu, and South America are the continent of ancient Atlantis. It's the seat of Tartaria. It is ancient Temeria. It is also, later on, ancient Morocco. We'll get into that as well. Let me show you some more maps of Lemuria, or Mu. He didn't even know that it was actually Mu. Let's get into that. It's another version of an older map with more continents. Some of these continents probably still exist. They're probably still there. You see where Atlantis is. You see North America, South America. You see Africa. Now, they actually had another continent Over into Africa, that was called the Ramu. If you look down to the bottom right, you'll see it's called the Ramu. He doesn't like the word Moor Muur, so we'll just say Ramu. But you see where Lemuria is, it connects another landmass. Further to the west, it connects Asia, and you also have another territory that's also named Ramu down to your bottom left, near what would be Australia. Some of these continents are actually still there. Now these are maps that are older than Philip L. Schlater. We're gonna get into that clown later on. He fucked up when he posted that. I'm gonna let Bill Duke tell you. You fucked up when you posted that. Tell him, Bill Duke. Now, where do we find Lemurian stones? These are the different types of Lemurian stones and crystals. Lemurian seed crystals. Larimar. Look up the meaning of the word Lamar, the origin of Lamar, what it means. It means from the sea. Lemurian, blue calcite, scepter crystals. This brother is big on Tamaria and ancient Egypt being the Americas, which is true. The original ancient Egypt was the Americas. Tamuray, Tamuria, Moor, Moor, Moor. This brother's big on that, but doesn't know about scepter crystals coming from Lemuria. The pharaohs used scepter crystals. So did the priests, they used scepter crystals. And so far, these crystals have been found in Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Montana, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Washington, Madagascar, Mozambique, Namibia, South America, South Africa, Zambia, Russia, India, China, Tibet. And although this list is by no means complete, this brother, the Chief El Ra Autotchnous Seamoss. Mr. Autotchnous Seamoss Chief likes to claim that the word MR does not mean the word Moor in the Medu Netje. But we know that the word MR, and it's been taught this way for literally hundreds and hundreds of years, the word MR is the word Moor and love and pyramid. The pyramid is the symbol of the Moorish Empire. Worldwide, it is a symbol of the Moorish Empire. I'll show you that later on. Nevertheless, the word Moor comes from the name of the land Tamari, meaning the beloved land. Yet there are several other definitions of this word because it was utilized in different areas. Therefore, the phonics of the word and vibrations were different. We're going to get into the Medu Netje briefly. Before you study the Medu Netje, depending on your level, Chief Autotchnous Seamoss, that you come into, the Medu Netje will reveal itself in various ways. The Medu Netje is also vibrations and frequencies. And we're going to get into the word love. You say the word MR does not mean Moor in the Medu Netje. Brother says that the word MR means more to do with love and light. Let us remember that. The brother says the word MR does not mean the word Moor in the Medu Netje, or Mary. He says it has to do with more of love and light. That's on one of his other posts. The brother's saying the wise old owl glyph is not the priesthood of Anu, the Mary, the Moors, the true landlords. The brother's saying that is not true. The brother says again, the word MR in the Medu Netje does not mean Mary or Moor. It means more to do with love and light. Let's take a look at the word love. The glyph of the wise old owl. An owl can turn its head around 360 degrees twice. Those for you to have eyes to see and ears to hear. The glyph of the wise old owl. Let's look at the word love. The brother Chief says that the letters M and R in the Medu Netje do not mean Moor. They mean love and light. Let's take a look at the word love. Once again, the brother Chief El Ra Autotchnous Seamoss is so adamant about going at the title of nobility Moor, which is ancient. The vibration and frequency is ancient. We have other languages that confirm the word and the vibration of Moor. But let's take a look at the word love and light, because the brother says it doesn't mean the word Moor in the Medu Netje. It means love and light. Well, the ancient word for Hebrew, for light, in the real Hebrew, I'm not talking about Yiddish. There's two versions of Hebrew. The word for light in Hebrew is M-A-O-R. M-A-O-R. The word M-A-O-R means a light or luminary in Hebrew. We already know about the word love in Latin. Latin is an ancient language. It is older than they tell you. Initially, Latin was referred to, get ready to go take a shit, CMOS, because you take a shit every time you hear the word Moor. It was called Moorish Latin. But the word for love in Latin is amor. Amorium. The word for love in Italian is amor, affection, daring, fondness, desire. The word love in French is amor. Yo te quiero mi amor, Spanish. Now these three languages I just mentioned, today, if you speak any one of those languages, if you speak all three or four, everywhere you go to the four corners, someone will understand that language. Because these languages derive from older languages. This word more is a frequency and a vibration. It's a frequency and a vibration. And the brother told you in his video that MR does not mean more, but it means love and light, which means more or amore. Chief CMOS El Ra. Now, let's get into what he posted about Philip L. Schlater. Bill Duke, tell him what he did when he posted that. I'm going to let Bill Duke tell you. Tell him, Bill Duke. This is Philip L. Schlater, Mr. Slate. Do we know what a slate is? Autotchnous Chief L. Ra CMOS, you fucked up when you posted this. Your credibility is now out of the window when it comes to anything regarding Moors. Just keep doing everything else and leave the Moors the hell alone. You really, I'm gonna let Bill Duke tell you. Go ahead and tell him, Bill Duke. In 1851, he began to study law and was admitted a fellow of Corpus Christi College, Oxford. A chief does not know what the word fellow means when it's used referring to these people coming out of Oxford. Fellow by or association, hence a companion, compadre, or mate. The word is also used to designate privileged members of various learned societies and institutions. Admitted fellow, accepted fellow, secret society member. You are quoting the work of a thief. You're accrediting him to be the author and creation of the theory of Lemuria, which I just showed you maps that are older than this motherfucker. Once again, Philip L. Schlater, out of Corpus Christi at Oxford. Many believe that Oxford is a center of the Illuminati's manipulation of education. Example, hiding or concealing true records of various topics. A large percentage of Rhodes scholars enter into politics, science, economics, and media. It is believed they act as agents for the Illuminati. Out of Oxford, a learned society, an admitted fellow, accepted fellow. You use this one as your only reference for Lemuria. You ought to be ashamed. Your credibility is out of here, even if he even existed. Because if you don't know what happened during Reconstruction about them inventing characters to claim things, to hide things. Some of these people have pen names. Once again, to those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, Schlater. There is a Schlater Lodge. Look up the Schlater Lodge. You really fucked up when you did this. And from him is where Moors get Lemuria. From him, he made up Lemuria. Did he make up Lemuria stones? Did he invent those as well? Did he invent scepter stones? My dear brother, you are done right here. You're finished. But we have to correct other things you stated. Let me go back to Philip L. Schlater. We can't believe Autotchnous CMOS did this. Philip was elected a fellow of the Royal Society at age 31 and served for 2 periods on its council. He joined the British Association for the Advancement of Science. The British Association for the Advancement of Science. They're thieves, hiders, deceivers. We can't believe you did that one, brother. Now, there is so much information about ancient America also being called Morocco. All these debates, this is what Chief L. Seamoss, El Ra, Autotchnous does not know. All of these debates about America being ancient Morocco was already won and had back in 2008 through 2016. There was so many YouTube videos of people confirming that, including people from all around the earth plane, confirming, yes, it was ancient Morocco. But what did Chief L.C. Ross Autotchnous do? He started talking about the Morocco over in Africa. That wasn't founded until 1956. So who was George Washington talking about in 1789? He was referring to he was writing a letter to the Sultan about funds and money. The Sultan, as you should know, is another word for the power or the authority. Who is the power and the authority within the autochthonous indigenous tribes? Who's the power and the authority? There's so much information about America being called ancient Morocco, it is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous that you would say, no, it doesn't mean that. You see, they're talking about the Al-Aqsa Maghrib. You even pronounced that the wrong way. That's the slang version of how the word is pronounced. You know, there's another Arabic, just like there's another Hebrew. Brother, you have a lot to learn. I'm going to let this man tell you. Let's hear from him. You like to use so-called lighter references for information. Well, maybe he can convince you. Let's let him tell you.
That North America, or North America is known as Al-Maghrib Al-Aqsa.
Of course, I know that. North America was known as Al-Maghrib Al-Aqsa, and it reported to the Sultan of Morocco.
You see, Chief Autotchnous Seamoss, probably before you were born, there was so many debates going on in the 90s about America being ancient Morocco. The Al-Aqsa Maghrib, the furthest west. Morocco over there is not the furthest west to the people of that continent. That doesn't make any sense. It's not the furthest west. Ancient Berber word for Morocco is Amurak or Murak. It means land in the west. Variants, America, Amuraka, Amuru, Amaru, Amuru, America, America, America. The Aboriginal and indigenous autochthonous peoples of the Americas, Amuricans. Go back to Mohicans, Mohicans, Moroccans. This is not wordplay. You just don't like the word Moor. You don't like that title of nobility. Al-Moroccans, Morocans, Moors, 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 Moors. Remember that America was never called India. It was not named after Amerigo Vespucci. America truly is the land, the continent in the west. Thus, historically and geographically, the original peoples of the Americas are Amarucans, Moors, Al-Moroccans, Moors, Al-Moroccans, Moors. This guy has to tell you. There's another one of you guys. They got to tell you. These debates were won and had. It has already been confirmed. You're debating things that people have got destroyed on. And you're bringing up new information. You think you're bringing up something new. Brother, my dear brother, you do not like that title of nobility, Moor. There's other titles of nobility other than Moor, but Moor is an ancient one we used. We're going to get into the empire now to show everybody about Chief Autotchnous El Ra when it comes to the Moors. His credibility is none. Autotchnous Chief Seamoss, Ra'el. This is the original banner, or flag, we had other words for flag, that was flown by the original Mu Empire on the earth plane everywhere. Anyone that stood as an original homo-sapien, because there was other things that were coming about, flew this banner. You were just wearing a red wrap on your head and a red shirt, and you have the audacity to say Autotchnous is not Moor. We got a lot of learning to do, brother. Let's get into the flags and the banners. This is the original. It was just red or maroon. It had a serious reputation to it. You know, blood is a different color. Inside you, when it hits the air, it turns red. This has a serious meaning. Let's move forward. The flag then was called to the masculine principle. The masculine principle. Do you not see two pyramids joined? Those are two pyramids that are joining. This is the masculine principle. This was flown only in certain areas on the earth plane. This didn't start with Drew Ali. Let me show you which one he did. This didn't start with Drew Ali. That has to do with the phrase uplifting humanity. Humanity is considered to be the woman or the female. The masculine never had a downfall. The masculine never had a downfall. It was the feminine. We are to uplift humanity, which is the feminine principle. It needs to be uplifted again. Then it went on to the feminine principle. The feminine principle, because the ages were changing. The ages were changing. And we all know there's a lot of feminine principles in the air now. We can't even control some of them. We have to bring that back into control. The feminine principle, it's now unbalanced. It is out of control. Here are some other Moorish banners. These were not only used in Europe. We're talking about in Europe at that time was on the east coast of America. There was no Europe over there. It was here on the east coast. But these are some of the banners they flew, and flags. We just saw a movie done about the one on the left. They're always telling you in films about the Moorish paradigm, but the chief has no idea how to recognize. I wonder if the chief has been taking it to any adept courses. I really wonder, has he ever studied the Medu Netje? I wonder, because you can identify simple things like banners and flags that go back 10,000 to 20,000 years. And you can identify when you see a term that's called accepted fellow or admitted fellow. That Flip L. Schlater, I'm going to let Bill Duke tell you again. Red banners, maroon banners, the empire. Let's continue on the empire since you have a problem with the empire and the title of nobility such as Moor. The tarbouch. The tarbouch and the halo. It's the halo. Fez is something that is new. That's a new term. It's the halo. The L's are the legislative branch. The bays, the national headdresses are the executive branch. We're not different peoples. One of them talked you into dropping your titles of nobility to remove the tarbouch or the halo and only to wear that one. We are the same Autotchnous peoples, divided by traitors. Let's get more into the empire. You think Moor is something new with Drew Ali. No, it's not. No, it is not. He was bringing back to the surface a title of nobility that had went underground. And in some cases, people were still using it, but not openly. In some areas they were, in other areas they weren't. In some tribes they were, in nations they were, in other areas they weren't. These are called tobacco Moors. And every one of these postings has the word Moor on it, and these are from the late 1800s, mid-1800s. Some of them go further back. Some of them do not have dates. And I have not showed you anything on paper because we did not use paper. You keep posting things on paper to be solid, to be confirmations. We didn't use paper. These are tobacco Moors. Moors of old. Here's a Moorish crest from Rome. From Rome. The empire was all over the earth plane. That's a Moorish crest from Rome. Tell me what those symbols mean, chief. If you're a chief, you have to have a showman, a showwoman, a seer, an oracle that guides you. Tell me. Here's an old statue that was stolen. A very old statue. Notice the red representing the empire. They stand with the empire. The red sash later on was another meaning of standing with the empire. The adept On your shoulder was another meaning, as long as it was red. The head wrap, the red, anything red meant you stood with the empire. Here was our sister Queen Khalifa, stood with the empire when California was an island. They dared to go to that area. They had to wait before they went out there. They had to wait for agents to go in and talk the people out of their titles of nobility to trick them into turning over their vast estates. Like you're saying, Moor is not real. Don't worry about that title of nobility. That is the same thing the agents did. It is the same thing in order to access the estates and the vast estates of our original autotchonous indigenous Moors and others. Drop your titles of nobility and leave your estates. That's what the agents did. Here's another older statue. Brothers wearing red, rocking with the empire, standing with the empire. This is the fake George Washington. It's not the real one. This is a fake one. He is standing over the red banner, the cherry tree. And if you know the symbolism in there, he has a sword out. What is he doing with a sword out and nobody's? Is he fighting someone? Or did he just tell you, we have tricked and defeated, we've got them to turn over their titles of nobility? And here lies their banner by his hand, his right hand, and his left hand is holding a sword. And his feet are at a 45-degree angle. Come on, Chief. You tell me what this means. There's another fake George Washington image. That's not what he looked like. He has his leg. One of his legs is weak. One of his legs is slightly to 7. He has a sword out on the ground, on a rock. He has his back turned towards his teacher. Prince Whipple. You call yourself a chief? We were princes and princesses, kings and rulers. Chief came much later. That's not even an old word. Turning his back on the empire, his own teacher. And that is not what he looked like. That is not who he looked like. He was just as dark as you, Chief Autotchnous Sea Moss. Just as dark as you. And telling people to drop their titles of nobility. Telling them, Moor is not a title of nobility. It's not real. Drop it, drop it. Yeah, Chief, turning his back on the empire. Turning his back on his teacher. As we clearly stated before, that there's been so much confirmation throughout films, books, television series about the Moorish Empire. Another name as well, when we go back anciently, under various terms and words. But this is the book that was presented to you in the Marvel series of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This book was used to control the Winter Soldier. What does the word winter mean in etymology? Why did they use the word winter? Why was he called the Winter Soldier? What could control and combine and confirm or activate or free the Winter Soldier? More science! Moorish science! The ancient Egyptian mystery systems that went underground and resurfaced through the Moorish Science Temple of America. It didn't start there. It is ancient teachings. Why did they, how large was this? They could have used any other color. They have, did I show you a red and green flag before, brother? What does that look like, brother? Chief All Teaching the Seymour, where's your book? Where's yours? This is it right here. This is it. But you dare to continue to challenge someone every time they say the word Moor. There's Moors on your page that are remaining quiet. They know you don't know what you're talking about. I looked at the profiles. They know you don't know what you're talking about. You've posted information on must-read books, and these individuals have proclaimed their nationality on paper, and they're using a different name in private on their book. Excuse me, in public. They're using a different name in public on the book. In private, they're a Moorish American. You've posted maps that were posted back in 2007 on the internet, 8 and 9, by Moors. You know the first time I heard the word autotchonous? The first time I read a book that had the word autotchonous, it was from Moors. 20-something years ago. The battles have been won and had. The debates are over with. Either we build or we don't, or just remain quiet and keep teaching on CMOS and everything else and leave the Moors out your mouth. Or we can build and get this thing corrected. I don't agree with every Moor. No one agrees with everyone. No one has a monopoly on truth, brother. But there's a lot together we can learn. Chief L. Ra Autotchonous CMOS once again on Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali taught the science not only in the Americas, but also in Mexico, in Hindustan, and in other locations. When you talk about him just being a man, him just being another guy, oh, all I could find was him on a reservation. Well, we have a lot of information on Drew Ali we found. And it is amazing. And the more we find, the more iconic it becomes. The more great it becomes. The more in-depth it becomes. Drew Ali, in this image, October 15th through the 20th, 1928, the Moorish Science Temple. It is amazing that Chief L. Ra Autotchonous CMOS, maybe he's never looked at this image. Maybe he's never tried to find out who is actually in this image. There is an Egyptian adept sitting right at his right hand. You want to talk about metal Netje? We're going to get into that one. There are four princesses of autotchonous nations in this image. I'm going to let you find out who they are. One of them is sitting to his right and is Iroquois. There's other ones on his right on his left that are Narragansett and Powhatan. You don't know this? You don't know that some of your seers, when they found out about Drew Ali, they ran to New Jersey. They ran to Chicago to learn. He was sought out. And you say he's just a man. Now on his mother's side, as I mentioned before, it's supposed to be Washita. Supposedly. Let's get into more on Drew Ali because you think he was just some man who coined the term Moor. A chief who has sought the advice of his oracle or his seer or shaman or shawoman would know exactly who's in this picture. You would know. You would know exactly why there's people looking out of the window. This is their building, by the way. Why aren't they in the picture? Why is someone out of the picture? You would know all this. You would know why he's bound. You would know the hand gestures, Chief. Do you know the gestures that some of them are making? This is Autotchonous original Moorish science in the Americas, brother. Your credibility is done. Let's get more to Drew Ali. We still got to correct more. There's that word more again. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Professor Drew, the Egyptian adept student. I am a Muslim. Professor Drew is a man who was born with divine power. This is an article. He didn't write it. You can find this. He was taught by the adepts of Egypt, meaning ancient America, Autotchonous. You have no idea. You can't find this or you couldn't find this. We got the whole article on this where you can actually read it. Some of this is blocked out on purpose, brother. You have no idea about your ancestors. Oh, by the way, this whole Muslim thing, does that say Muslim or does it say Muslim? Muslim, not Muslim, Muslim. Muslim, ancient, ancient. Muslim is ancient. Muslim is not. You see, our paradigm, your paradigm and mine, we always have various monikers and various titles. You don't have one name or moniker. If you do, woo, that says a whole lot if you only know him by one thing. This is Drew Ali, taught in India. Does it say Muslim? It says Muslim. Ancient, 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 brother. Oh, Drew Ali was just, how is he teaching all over the world? He taught in Mexico. Old Meccan Moors, the old Meccan Incas, and they ran down to Mexico to learn from Drew Ali. India, what do you know about India and Tibet, brother? What do you know about the secrets that were taken out of this place and taken there? What do you know? See, America, the land of the Moors, America, North America, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean, that makes up the Americas. Land of the Moors. It's called The Great Cover-Up. It's an article that came out in the 70s, and it mentions that North, South, and Central America, land of the Moors, and it wasn't being taught openly to where you could actually go to places and learn it openly until 1916 through 1928 by the Moorish Science Temple. And then you had the Canaanite Temple. You know Canaan or Canaanite, that's ancient Canada. Drew Ali had a temple called the Canaanite Temple before the Moorish Science Temple. It didn't start with Drew Ali, brother. He just brought it back. He just gave you back that title of nobility. That those of the likes of the agents went into the empire to trick you out of using by acquiescence, by direct tricks, by saying drop it, don't use it, oh, we can't call ourselves that no more because of the wars that are going on. People are trying to find out who has the titles of nobility so they can access the vast estates. Do you know the story of Sarah Rector? She had a title of nobility and they convinced her into dropping it, leaving her estate open later on. America, land of the Moors. A federal depository of New York State in the Handbook of North American Indians. Page 290. Now you know we're not Indians. Page 290, United States Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C., stock number. Got the stock number, copyright 1978 by Smithsonian Institution, the Library of Congress, cataloged in publication data. What are they going to deal with? The United States is only going to deal with titles of nobility. That's all they're going to deal with. It states that among the reputed ancestors of Aboriginal American Indian population, natives, we know that word is, that's why they got it in brackets there, natives are Moors and Turks, the Tuscaroras. Do you not know the Turks were called the Tuscaroras? The Turks, the Tuscarora? That is also a title, Turk. It's a title. Moors, it's a title. Saying these people had titles among them that they recognized. Oh no, you ain't Moor, drop that title. No man, you ain't no Moor, dog. Oh no man, you can't, no, come on man. Don't use that title of nobility. There's other titles of nobility as well, brother. Not just Moor, there's some other ones, but Moor is one of them. Now, the brother Chief El Ra or Autotchnous Seamoss had the audacity to say that Moors worship monkeys. Can you believe that shit? People on his page and his IG, he made the comment that Moors worship monkeys, that the lemurs created by Philip L. Schlater, a fucking fraud Satanist that will eat your baby right in front of you, Autotchnous Seamoss, and drink the blood and ask your ass for seconds. You posted him as your #1 reference to the ancient continent and island of Lemuria. How dare you say someone worshiped monkeys? But perhaps, maybe it's good you made that comment, because those same comments were said by the agents in the 13 colonies that were used to cross the proclamation line, sneak across it and go into the empire and snitch and spy on the people that had titles of nobility. And they called them monkeys and animals, and they're pagans, and they worship signs and symbols. You know, the metal Netje. They made every move to denationalize the Autotchonous Moors in the empire, west of the proclamation line. These were people that looked just like you that were calling us monkeys. And Moors worship monkeys. You said the lemurs were the Moors' gods. we're going to show you who your God possibly is as we conclude. If the Moors worship monkeys, and the monkeys, those lemurs that you say he created and Lemuria came from this devil, this man, Autotchnous Chief El Ra, rocking Moorish monikers, Autotchnous CMOS, this man will eat your child alive in front of you and drink the blood and ask you for seconds. So if the Moors worship monkeys, then this is the real monkey. Are you not unaware of the Negro Araba? The real Negro Araba? That's the real monkey right there. That's the real monkey right there. And that's probably your God. That's who you worship. So go to that Slater Lodge, go get your fake phony degrees, and keep attacking Moors as they did. As those societies that he represented ate your goddamn babies. And you use him as your main reference of Lemuria. And against the Moors, you ought to be fucking ashamed of yourself. But as I rest, brother, we can get together and build and clear up all the confusion and make this thing great. But you got a lot to learn, brother. You got a lot to learn. In addition, there's other languages we have. Medu Netje is not one of the only languages that we spoke. There's fire languages like Tetragrammaton that he knows nothing about. There's other languages. The science of gematria. There's several ways to do gematria, not one, that proves vibrations and frequencies of titles of nobility like Moor, that are ancient words. Need we remind you of Hannible or Hannible, the Phoenician, phonics out of Phoenicia, also called the Moor? That was way before Drew Ali. Brother, my dear brother, we can build and be strong. But if you're not going to do that, just remain quiet when it comes to Moors, because your credibility is out the window. I'm going to buy your book, brother. I'm going to support you, because as the frequency of love and light, as Moors project love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, righteousness and equality, there's another 3 that you don't need to know right now, because your heart's not right when it comes to Moors. You have some type of hatred, some type of disdain, some type of negative vibration that you've been taught or you're receiving, or maybe you're doing what your ancestors did against the empire. At any rate, brother, I will support you. I'm not going to respond to you anymore. There's no need for me to respond to anything you have to say when it comes to Moors. I will give you thumbs up on your page when you're correct. I will not do any videos to you anymore. It will be a waste of time, anything from this point, other than to build and do positive building. I'm with that, brother. Anybody that's with that, I'm with that. But posting these motherfuckers, they ain't even been around very long. They may not have been here for 200 years. But I rest, brother. Safe travels to you, brother, and prosperity and peace from a real Moor. You stepped into the wrong sandbox, homie. But I'm going to support you. Peace, my dear brother. In conclusion, brother, I will support you. I'll probably order your book and read it. I will not make any more videos. I don't have anything else to say to you. There's no need for that. You've got a lot of learning to do. But other than that, we can build, we can grow, make this thing right, kill up a lot of confusion. We can see how it all fits. And the whole 9 from 0 to 9. But as far as posting the end of your video and you have a capstone and you got on it, here lies the Moorish doctrine, I think we just saw who got buried. And it is not the Moors, the empire. It's not. Brother, like I say, I will support you. I will not make any more videos to you or about you. There's no need for that. I'm too busy. I'm out here networking and navigating like a Moor is supposed to do. I will only respond with you with the frequency and vibration of love and light like a Moor is supposed to. But the madness has got to stop. Going at the empire, it's got to stop. Some people just are quiet when it comes to Moors. They don't say anything because they know. They know what the deal is. Once again, brother, love and light to you. I want to tell you, you got Moors all around you. There's people we know that are nationalized. You've used their information on your post. You've used their books. You've referenced their materials, their maps that they posted back in 2007 through 2016. You have people that have proclaimed their nationality as Moorish Americans in private, on paper, and you don't even know who they are. It's some of the information you put up. And thanks to the Moorish Science of America for keeping track of the people who actually proclaim their nationality and making it known to some of us. Brother, you have no idea who the Moors are out there. You don't. But in closing, peace to you, love and light to you. I wish you the best in your ventures, unless you're talking about Moors. I think you just need to be quiet and do a lot of learning. But other than that, peace, brother. I support you. Love. Be safe. Keep doing what you're doing. Just leave the word Moor out your mouth until you learn. Peace.